Arrest him now. We are not friends. Johnson revealed that she and Khan were once close friends, maintaining regular contact through WhatsApp messages and even attending his birthday celebration. According to her testimony, the two shared a friendly relationship for years, with nothing suggesting that their bond would eventually fall apart. Before we continue, please kindly subscribe, like and comment your opinion below. However, everything changed after the Mayor murder complaint surfaced. Johnson explained that the serious allegations marked a turning point in their relationship, forcing her to reassess her association with Khan.
At paragraph 16, you do state that you know Major General Khan as a general based at Khan Intelligence Head Office. Before I became the investigating director in March, I engaged with him in meetings with other stakeholders. So we are now before you joined IDEC. Did you have any other relationship besides that you describe at paragraph 16 with General Khan, personal or otherwise?
I had gotten to know him quite well. At a stage, we engaged often on all kinds of issues that didn't necessarily relate to work. He was very affable, and I got along with him. So I would talk to him as well outside of meetings. It wasn't confined to meetings.
That's an important distinction to draw, because your paragraph 16 seems to suggest that your engagements with him prior to 2022 were in meetings and with other stakeholders only. It's too restrictive what's said in 16 regard being head to your response now.
And we can add it.
No, the record, it's there on record. So I say, we clarify that you had this professional relationship as you describe in 16, but you also had a personal relationship.
Yes, I did.
You say you then you have a specific timeline to it. Say before I became investigating director in March 2022. Let's get past March 2022. The relationship, as you have now clarified, with General Khan, did it change? What's the relevance of using that marker, March 22, when you became ID, to speaking to the relationship you have with General Khan? It suggests, as I read it, that it drastically changed from March 2022. Am I reading it correctly? And yet, I take into consideration what you say at your paragraph 19. You say you have had limited contact with him and have had no contact with him approximately the past year and a half. It's now 2026, but your cutoff date there is March 22. I don't know. Where were you on April 2022 until a year and a half before 2026? So far as your relationship is concerned. Thanks.
So if we're taking it from March 2022, I continue to talk to General Khan.
Yes.
It is only late in 2024 when this issue of Mr. Murray arose, because Mr. Murray came to see me personally. It had been a very painful engagement. And it was then that I raised the issue with him, and I slowly started to withdraw. I didn't stop talking to him completely, but if I have to cast my mind back, that's why I say past year and a half, which would have been from very early 2025.
Okay. And you say that in 2024, after you met Mr. Murray, you started to withdraw. I take it from a closer relationship with General Khan.
Yes.
If I may, why? What is the relevance of that matter to the change in your relationship with General Khan?
Here I get to engage a victim who's lost his father and his brother in a very violent way.
Yes.
It is very difficult, commissioners, when you are sitting with a child who is now parentless and brotherless. He is raw of emotion sitting in front of you. But it's not just the emotion. It is the complaint about the police not doing their work. And he sat there hoping that we were able to help him. And it was unfortunate. It is not in our mandate. But it touched me in a different way, in a very humane way. And it made what he was saying more real. I wasn't reading this in papers. I wasn't hearing stories. I was hearing from a child. Well, he's a young man, but I was hearing this from a child. And there is no way when you have that engagement that you are able to just shut it down and, okay, this is what you go and do, and then you just carry on. It had an impact. And I think it was for those reasons. It really had a humane impact that I was unable to assist him. And the allegation he made was very serious. And so he was accompanied by a friend, and I told him and the friend they would definitely have to take this up with the head of detectives at the time.
So if then I understand, just to wrap up, then your relationship with General Khan was adversely influenced by the allegations made to you as regards his alleged involvement by Mr. Murray. That's what altered the course of your relationship.
Yes.
Okay.
Because he was explicit about where he felt Mr. Khan was involved and persons he was involved with. It's names I'm prepared to write, but he made very pertinent referrals.
Yes. And do you know whether he took up your advice, just as a matter of interest? I think you said you suggested that he engaged SAP's organized crime Gauteng.
Yes, there was a time when he did make contact with me again to indicate that the detectives had allocated a new team.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it ended up being to his satisfaction, as I am aware that there haven't been arrests made on the matter. But I am aware, Commissioner Khumalo, that he did follow up that, and I'm aware that they actually had a proper engagement with him. I'm not sure where that engagement is now, given there's no arrests in the matter.
Understood. And lastly, at your paragraph 20, this... in response to
maybe before you do 20, just so I make sure I understand, that paragraph 16 and following, where you say you continue to speak to General Khan after March 2022, does that mean you socialized with him? What does that mean? Because you could be talking about work, you could be talking about family, friends, you could be meeting for lunch. What exactly do you mean when you say you continue to talk to him outside of meetings?
So we would chat on WhatsApp, or we would talk to one another if we saw one another, but we didn't socialize, in the word socialize, so we didn't go to lunch, visit one another, etc.
But you had non-work related interactions.
Non-work related
interactions.
Thank you. Yes.
I might be mistaken, but I think at some point we had evidence that you attended his 50th or 55th birthday party.
That is
Was it after this date?
No, sir.
When was that?
Oh, I speak under correction. I don't know when he turned 50. It might have been in 2020 or 2019. But it was, he invited my husband who worked at Crime Intelligence. And when we got there, most people who had been invited with their partners or spouses. And we attended the birthday, attended the dinner. We probably were the most ungracious guests because it was very busy. And as soon as we had dinner, I said to my husband, can we leave? And we didn't even greet the host. We had left, but we did attend it. My husband having been invited, and I attended.
As the investigation intensified and public scrutiny grew, she gradually distanced herself from him. By late 2024, Johnson had completely withdrawn from Khan, ending their friendship and cutting ties. Her testimony suggests that the Mayor murder complaint fundamentally altered her perception of him and ultimately brought an end to what had once been a close personal relationship. The revelation has added another layer of intrigue to the ongoing proceedings, with observers closely watching how Johnson's evidence could influence the broader investigation. As more witnesses testify, attention remains focused on whether these relationships and communications will provide crucial insight into the case. If you'd like, I can also make this more dramatic and engaging in a South African breaking news YouTube style with a stronger hook and retention-focused narration.
Thank you, Commissioners. Paragraph 31. When I joined the Investigating Directorate, ID, predecessor to the IDAC, there were already several complex fraud and corruption matters in place. These matters implicated very senior member of SAPS in alleged criminality. This was especially so in the supply chain management unit of the SAPS. Some of these matters were enrolled in various courts. 32. The accused in those matters included, amongst others, then Acting National Police Commissioner General Patlane, General Ngwenya, who was our first black female Deputy National Police Commissioner in the SAPS, and also at the time, the wife of Lieutenant General Shadrack Sibia, General Nematunzela, who was the head of analysis at Crime Intelligence, and various other very senior SAPS officials.
Before you proceed, I think for my understanding, when you submitted this statement, you were responding to specific Rule 3 issued by the Commission. Of what relevance is the contents of paragraph 32 to that Rule 3? You don't say anything about that beyond this point. So just to check what point you were seeking to put across.
So it is to indicate that IDAC had other matters that it was investigating against senior members of the South African Police, which matters I found were already within that space when I arrived, and that those matters related to the supply chain management issues, and that the officials mentioned in 32 are of the officials that were charged in the various courts on these matters.
And just to be clear, are the facts arising from any of those matters or investigations conducted in those matters, do they have any impact on what you have been dealing with, which is the arrest of General Khumalo in the current matter?
No, it was just merely to indicate that there were other matters of also senior police officials within the SAPS environment.
Understood. Thank you. We may then go to your paragraph E.
Paragraph E. Other issues raised by Mkhwanazi. 33. Mkhwanazi also testified, that is General Mkhwanazi, also testified IDAC sought to get involved in matters involving syndicates in Gauteng. He is incorrect on the submission. 34. He alleges that he doesn't understand why IDAC was getting involved in the matters of Molefe and Matlala, as this was dealt with by the PKTT and Gauteng organized crime. 35. IDAC is not involved in any investigation relating to Molefe. With regards Vusi Mose, in inverted commas, Cat Matlala, Matlala in brackets, IDAC's only interest arose out of a Section 27 referral from SAPS with regards the unlawful awarding of a tender to his company, Medicare 24, and allegations of collusion and corruption with Matlala and some SAPS officials. IDAC did get cyber search warrants for the cell phones and electronic devices of Matlala. These were presented to IDAC by a Lieutenant Colonel Khumalo. The data was downloaded in his presence and he left with the devices. The information is sought in relation to the tender matter.
Before we leave paragraph 35, insofar as Mr. Matlala's case is concerned, do I understand you correctly that that was triggered by a different Section 27 referral received from SAPS? It's not the Section 27 referral that we've been discussing received from Mr. Adams.
That is correct.
This is a different one.
It is a Section 27 referral entirely based only on allegations against Matlala, irregular awarding of a contract, Medicare 24. And there it is from someone completely different and does not relate to the ones we've been discussing, or the one we've been discussing about Mr. Adams.
on the basis of what we discussed regarding paragraph 32, where you introduce other cases, General Pashani and them, for the sake of completeness, are you able to provide the Commission with that particular Section 27 referral? So we too can have the benefit of a full picture of the matters that IDEC is dealing with insofar as SAPS is concerned. May I add that Section 27 affidavit to the list of documents that IDEC will be providing to the Commission, hopefully by tomorrow morning?
Not for not wanting to help the Commission. I will just ask for a quick engagement once we're done with these affidavits, just with my counsel, in terms of this matter, which is in court at the moment, and for which I think, though, if you deal with it, Advocate Selo.
Yes, ma'am.
On the basis of how you've dealt with the other 27 and the status of where that case is vis-a-vis where the Kumalo matter is, then we would have to disclose the Section 27. I think the logic follows. I just hope I'm making logical sense that on the basis of the one, I'm trying to find where the preclusion would be given the status of where these two matters currently lie.
May I suggest this, that there are two issues you are raising. One is availing a document to the Commission, and the second is the treatment of that document by the Commission in open hearing. Those are two distinct issues. I'm still on the first. So I'm not sure I understand why you would want to confer with your counsel about providing the Section 27 referral you reference here. Would that potentially be a challenge?
It's
and
not.
If so, what would be the challenge?
It's not the providing.
And I distinguish that from how then, after receipt, the Commission engages with that particular document.
Correct.
Yes.
It is just to engage on how the Commission would deal with the document.
But the document shall be provided. Is that where we'll end?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. I think your second request is reasonable. We can confer with your counsel, and to the extent that it is necessary, he and I will engage on such matters. By the time we appear before the commissioners on that particular document, we will have hopefully a common position.
Noted.
Thank you. You may proceed. Commissioner Baloyi just engaged you on whether or not an accused person is arrested or summoned to court. You say it's not your final decision. It's not yours. It lies somewhere else within IDEC.
It lies with that team.
So where that team has made that decision, you have no power to overturn it as the ID. Is that? I just need to understand what your power is relative to that decision taken by investigators. Do you have any powers at all?
We haven't exercised powers to overturn. We've made suggestions, and almost invariably many of those suggestions have been taken on board. So, as an example, Advocate Selo, the team might feel strongly about an arrest. And in that engagement, the ID says, the reasons you provide just don't make sense for why a warrant of arrest, a subpoena should be issued. They then take that on board, and I found that they do exercise it. So they do listen when it makes sense that the proposed way they want it was not going to work.
You talk about you haven't exercised the power. I am still trying to locate the power. Do you have that power as a matter of fact and law, or you don't?
No, I don't.
Whether you have exercised it or not is neither here nor there for the moment. Do you understand yourself to have such a power?
No. It is a power of engagement. What I'm saying is I engage them and I make suggestions. I cannot take the decision for them. I can make a suggestion, not a warrant, a subpoena.
No. I get confused now just when I thought I got it. You don't take a decision for them. They have taken a decision. My question is, do you have the power to override that decision? It's either you have it, you don't, and I'll move on.
I haven't exercised such a power to override. I'd have to check. I have to check if I have such a power to override.
Advocate Johnson, I'm hungry too. It's lunch. You can only exercise it if you have it.
Yes.
But you are not answering the first question. Do you understand yourself to have it or not to have it at all, that power?
I don't have a power to override them.
Okay.
From what I understand.
All right. Okay. That then I think that takes care of paragraphs 2 and 3. We deal with paragraph 2.5 in the subpoena, which reads thus: required you to address, quote, allegations concerning the existence of a quote-unquote Khan-Aidek cabal in SAPS and your role pursuant thereto, as made by Mr. Thulani Shongwe during his evidence at the Commission on the 30th of June 2026, close quote. You deal with that from your paragraph 15. At page 6 of your supplementary statement.
At Aidek cabal in SAPS, I also have no knowledge of a Khan-Aidek.
Your supplementary statement.
At paragraph 2.5, I have no knowledge of the existence of a Khan-Aidek cabal in SAPS. I also have no knowledge of a Khan-Aidek cabal within the Aidek. It follows that if such a cabal exists, I am not party to it. I have not authorized, encouraged, or facilitated its existence, nor have I benefited from any unlawful association involving General Khan, IDEC, SAPS officials, or any other person. To the extent that Mr. Thulani Shongwe's evidence suggests otherwise, I deny that suggestion.
Thank you. That will then take us to, I think your answer is straightforward and clear. Paragraph 2.6 of the subpoena, which reads thus, I quote, your relationship with Major General Khan and allegations that you disclosed to General Khan and SAPS docket relating to an ongoing criminal investigation against him, close quote. You deal with that paragraph 2.6 starting from your paragraph 16 at page 7. If you could turn to that, please.
At paragraph 2.6, I know Major General Khan, as a general based at Crime Intelligence Head Office. Before I became the investigating director in March 2022, I engaged with him in meetings with other stakeholders, attended net joints or other SAPS meetings at which he was present and to which I had been invited by relevant component heads, deputy national commissioners or divisional commissioners. In late 2024, media reports emerged concerning General Khan's alleged involvement with persons allegedly linked to the Murray murders. Those reports concerned me because I had previously met with one of the Murray sons who wanted to know whether IDEC could assist with the investigation. I informed him that IDEC could not assist, but explained how he could escalate his concerns about the investigation to SAPS management. At that stage, the concerns of the Murray's son referred to above related to how SAPS Organized Crime Gauteng was dealing with the matter. 18. I later encountered General Khan at a Public Service Commission or Department of Public Service and Administration workshop. I asked to speak to him and told him that the media reports about his alleged involvement with persons linked to the Murray murders were concerning. I further stated that if evidence of criminality by him were brought to IDEC, it would be dealt with in accordance with the law. 19. After the engagement referred to above, I had very limited contact with General Khan, and I've had no contact with him for approximately the past year and a half. The allegation referred to above is also vague and unsupported by particulars. No particulars have been provided as to who made the allegations, which docket is implicated, when or where the alleged disclosure occurred, how the docket was allegedly disclosed, or what information was allegedly conveyed. This is a serious allegation to make against a person holding as high a position of responsibility as I do, so that I, Chair, would justifiably have expected particularity to accompany the allegations for any meaningful engagement with them. Should I be required to answer questions arising from this affidavit or any other matters in respect of which it is determined that I may assist the Commission, I am willing to make myself available, subject to reasonable notice, access to sufficient evidential material to which I am required to respond, and my rights to legal representation. That ends the affidavit.
Thank you.